Hi, Sammy. Thanks for joining me this morning. And can you tell me a little bit about your involvement with the creative arts?
Well, I do a few things. So I'm a project coordinator and a marketing manager for a choreographer. She's Newcastle based. So that's what I do at the minute. I'm sort of a freelancer. I do jobs here and there, but I'm mainly working on this project. So I work with Dora Frankel, and like I said, she's a Newcastle based choreographer. And we work on projects, touring dance projects. So we've got something at the minute. Obviously, it was delayed due to COVID, but that's going to be exciting. So hopefully, we'll get in some theatres at some point. So yeah, that's basically what I do at the minute. I sort of had a bit. I just graduated from a master's, and like I was just getting into the field. So I'm lucky to sort of be doing something at the minute. So yeah, that's pretty much what I do for now.
Well, congratulations on that. Did you get to finish your course sort of on site, or did you have to try and do something remotely?
Yeah, so I finished in October last year. So I was living in Middlesbrough, but I did my masters in Newcastle at Northumbria. So I graduated in December. Sort of just before things were happening. So I was lucky to sort of finish that and have the support. Because obviously it's online at the minute and things like that. But yeah, I'm glad that I had that at least that.
Absolutely, very good timing. I think the arts of. I was interested to find out that actually the fine art degree is still going ahead at Teesside University on site. They've managed to set up screens and get it all socially distanced. So, obviously something like that, you can't do at home. So I'm really pleased that they've been able to facilitate that.
Yeah, I mean I'm glad to hear that actually because I did the dance degree at Teesside, and that I think that finished maybe last year. Um, so yeah, I was happy to know something. Obviously with like creative arts and like dance and performing arts, and it's something that you really just it's contact. You can't do that without being there. If like well, some parts of it anyway. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So, have you always been kind of involved in dance and the arts? Is it something that you started early on? Do you come from like a kind of dance background?
Yeah, so I sort of typical. I started like when I was little, and then sort of carried that on. So I used to do like ballet. I did a range of like sort of technical classes, and then I decided to further that into higher education when I started my degree at Teesside. So I sort of always had involvement in that way, whether it be practically or sort of behind the scenes. Yeah, I've always sort of been involved.
Great. And do you collaborate with various different groups? How's that worked? Have you done actual performances, or you tend to be behind the scenes sort of coordination these days?
Yeah, I tend to be behind the scenes, but I'm not saying I'd never go back into performing. Obviously, that's quite hard at the minute. Um, but like, I'm not saying that I would never do that. And I did enjoy it when I did do some performance based things when I was sort of in higher education, and then I did my masters in creative management, so I sort of went to the other side of it. But yeah, I predominantly work behind it, but I still join in company classes because I still love it. So
Absolutely. So, talking kind of more generally about the arts, about like you say, it's like other than the idea of putting on an event, putting on a show, what does dancing do for you? What does it give you? What did it give you as a kid growing up? And what function, what important part do you think the arts in general plays in society?
well, for me, it's like sort of freedom of artistic expression. There's no boundaries when you're making work, or just you do feel like a kid. You just mess around, you play around, and then you create something. It's a process, and I feel that we all attach different meanings to it, but we get inspired by, I mean, you know, some people get inspired by art and dance and, you know, that sort of cultural aspect to it. And I think without that, like, it's silent. It's nice to have that, you know, that just sort of ambience of dance and music, and I feel like, you know, arts are accessible to everybody, you know, from whatever background. And I feel that in a general sense, you know, we don't want to take that away from people. And yeah, so that's what it gives to me. There's no boundaries with dance or art. So
brilliant. I love that. Terrific. Yeah, I mean, you've talked a little bit about how lockdowns affected you and your future plans. Is there any kind of long-term planning? Are you kind of wait and see at the moment, see what happens?
yeah, I mean, I've been looking at certain things like applying for funding, developing your creative practice, because I felt like I was stalling a little bit. I think with the whole, I nearly got a job like after my masters, and it was just sort of all like, you know, because obviously when you're fresh out of education, you want to network, and when it's harder to do that when you can't actually go and shadow people or etc. And yeah, so I think just staying positive and just, you know, like planning things, it helps. So
Yeah, I mean, I guess the next couple of months are going to be crucial, aren't they? Like, for the record, we're now on the 29th of October. Kind of looks like we might be heading back into maybe too late national lockdown again in a few weeks' time. But it kind of seems like we're getting to the point where it might just be that we have to plan long term for this and work out ways that we continue our practice in a socially distanced way, which, as you say, is incredibly difficult with dance. I suppose if we've got these kind of quick tests coming in, it makes it far more feasible because the dancers themselves could be tested straight before they went on stage. You could have perspex between you and like a kind of limited audience. And I suppose when we get into the summer, once hopefully the weather starts getting a bit better, we can all start thinking about outdoors, because it seems like that is the safest environment for all of us.
Yeah, well, in the projects I mentioned about working with Dora, and we've got a residency at Dance City, and with that, they obviously the theatres have COVID sort of like restrictions in place. So obviously when you go in, you do temperature checks. So I think like there is a way of working around it. It's just obviously it's more challenging than ever, because dance is and anything like that is so contact based. Like, you know, that's it just is. So it is challenging, but it is doable. I think it's just obviously long term finding ways. There's always going to be changing and adapting to ways of working. So
well, let's hope it all just disappears, but if not, you know, I'm sure we'll find a way to continue to carry on with our practice, because as you say, it's not something that we can do without.
Yeah. Exactly.
Brilliant. It's been great talking to you, Sammy, and good luck in all your future endeavours, and I hope to see you out and about sometime.
Thank you. It's been great speaking to you. Thank you.
Toodle pip.
Bye.